Hi everyone, this is Professor Salmon. This is the video where I am going to go over the second personal narrative that I promised in class on Tuesday. This particular personal narrative is again from the New York Times personal narrative contest, so it is from students just like you. It is about 750 words. I'm going to go over the entire story as well as point out to you the different features that make the personal narrative a winner, which would obviously be an A paper. The title of this story or personal narrative is The Man Box by Gordon Lewis. So the first thing I want to point out is that the personal narrative has a creative title, The Man Box. Therefore, it does kind of prompt the reader to wonder, okay, what is a man box? On the right hand corner of the document, you will see some comments that I have left. I will do my best to summarize the comments, but I do recommend that you go back and read the comments yourself while also looking at the narrative essay outline template, which I'm going to try to incorporate that feedback between both documents pertaining to the story. So if you look in the very first paragraph, I do highlight with the comment. So the story begins with, "We're all average boys, hardworking in school, spending every minute together in the summer, and doing our best to pretend we don't have a worry in the world. The facts are no different as the sun is beginning to set on a warm July evening. Sam and I say goodbye to Ben, stepping out of our best friend's house." So there I've left a comment saying that the hook is based on setting a common ground with the reader. It's about establishing relevance. So as you read that, we've all had those summer days in between school and having a good time with our friends in the summer. So those lines right there establish relevance because we've all had those days in that sense. This prompts the reader to remember and to transport them into nostalgia. By talking about the warm summer in July, it's specifically an evening. He's also introducing the setting, which is literally the time and the place. If we were to say, okay, well, what's the location? They were stepping out of their best friend's house. To continue, "My sister is going to pick me up while we're walking. Is that okay?" I ask. So this is the narrator speaking. You will see in this essay that he incorporates dialogue very well. And just to note, dialogue switches up. Okay, for the next part, he says, "My sister is going to pick me up while we're walking. Is that okay?" I ask. "Yeah. Actually, she can probably drive you home too." This line foreshadows a looming problem about to be unveiled. Sam isn't his usual self. Right here he says, "Sounds good," says Sam, but lacking his usual upbeat comedic energy. So right there's a little bit of characterization letting us know that Sam is usually happy-go-lucky. He's upbeat, he's funny, and he usually is vibrant. He has energy. Furthermore, neither of us says anything else, but I'm okay with it. We just keep talking. I look around admiring the still, peaceful park as the warm summer breeze brushes across my face." There, you'll also see that there's personification, which is figurative language, throughout this entire essay. Remember, when you use your 5 senses while writing, that all the more engages more of your readers. Furthermore, the crickets are chirping and an owl sings along between the soft hum of cars rolling along nearby. It's nature's tune of serenity. Now, I didn't point out all of the personification and figurative language. I will leave that to you. To continue the story, I almost forgot Sam was with me until he asked, "Can I ask you kind of a weird question?" "Sure," I say, expecting a joke in poor taste as per usual. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, he says before asking. More hesitantly, I say, okay. Do you have someone that you talk to about like deeper stuff, like more emotional stuff? Silence hits us like a brick wall. The crickets stop chirping. The owl stops hooting. Even the cars stop driving by. It's deafening. Now, he's talking about the silence that occurred. You know, it's like that stomach drop where you can't even focus on anything, but the silence is loud. Again, this is foreshadowing something that's about to happen. So to continue, I'm only shocked at the question because it's Sam, one of the happiest and funniest people I know. So there he is still characterizing who Sam is. We're getting to know, okay, Sam is this type of person. We're also getting to know that the narrator, he's under a little bit of stress. He's not been approached with this kind of situation from his happy-go-lucky friend. If you look in the comments over there, I said, perhaps this is the inciting incident, the single part of the plot that sets up the climax. Your inciting incident is the catalyst to the highest point in the story. So the problem starts rolling. So I actually want to point out again that when the change in speaker happens, the dialogue gets a new line and it's often indented. So on the next part of the essay, it's in the yellow, I'm wondering, my disappointment takes over just as quickly as my hope fades as I fail to come up with a name. In the end, the closest thing I can think of is the book I occasionally write in when I'm feeling sad or stressed. The next part, I say quietly, I've never really thought about that, but I guess not. So there is a statement of self-reflection. That's essential to a personal narrative. If you remember in class where I pointed out, there's going to be what's the moral of the story. It incites the reader to think more deeply about whatever they're reading. Even if it's something of a lighthearted nature, you kind of sit back and be like, yeah, that you find it humorous. The next part. Yeah, I didn't either, but at camp we did activities and had talks that led to more emotional conversations. I'm silently both jealous and proud of him, but it's mostly jealousy. So we have the narrator, he's kind of envious of Sam, who is opening up a bit. To go on more, it's funny, I say. In English, we always joked about that TED Talk guy talking about the man box, but it's actually so true. We shouldn't feel like we can't talk about deeper stuff like that. So here he incorporates the title for the reader. What does the man box hold? The heavier things we need to talk about. The weight of the world. These are things that the author has made the reader ponder. This invites the idea of worldly contemplation. The author is tapping into human wonders, the fact that we are driven to arrive at explanations. Yeah, laughs Sam. Silence drapes over us again. There's more figurative language right there, but this time it's more comfortable. I'm lost in my thoughts, trying to think of what to say next, but there's too much. I've never had an opportunity like this before. However, it's not shocking or overwhelming, even though it's with Sam of all people. Instead, it's therapeutic. The silence is broken once again by Sam. Like, I never told you guys that my parents got divorced. I'm sorry, I say. That really sucks. I'm disappointed in myself for not saying more. It's okay, Sam says, but I know he's lying. I can feel his sadness. Drowning in my thoughts, I try to pick out something to say, but there's too much to say. There are too many options after being silent for 16 years. So I highlighted a lot of this yellow because this is the conflict going on in the story. It's internal conflict, yes. And And the internal conflict is complicated by external worldly situations like his parents, or the fact that they've been friends 16 years, but it's been a surface level relationship, in the sense of that they've never had such serious conversations or kind of been there for each other emotionally. These are things that you're drawing and inferring off the story. When you do that, you are writing well because the reader, again, is engaged. Headlights appear in front of us, and for a split second, I'm relieved. So this uncomfortable situation in this sentence, it's illustrating to us he's so uncomfortable that he's happy that his sister is about to arrive. So I'll read it again. Headlights appear in front of us, and for a split second, I'm relieved, but it rapidly turns into regret. Knowing it's Rose, I quickly tell Sam, if you ever want to talk again, just let me know. So the man box now closes, essentially, because now there's an outsider in their bond, in their friendship, that they don't want to have that displayed in that sense. You know, guy's supposed to be masculine, you know, based on society's gender role expectations. So to carry on, I say hi to Rose, masking my solemn. So you see he puts on a mask to act like nothing's wrong. Masking my solemn, thoughtful mood as tiredness. So he pretends to be tired. The warm breeze gives my cheek one final kiss. There's personification again. Nature resumes her number, and the cars roll by again as Sam and I reluctantly step into the car. So they went from unpacking the man box to putting them away when outsiders are looking. So the man box is closed. An example would be, you know, that the sister's arriving, so that prompts him to mask his feelings again. So hopefully this did give you a little bit more insight into how the personal narratives can be set up. I would say there's not an entirely complete wrong way to do this. I will post this narrative as a description by Owl at Purdue to help you also. You want to look at some of the requirements. You know, written as a story, that there's a plot, characters, setting, climax, and conclusion. The main characters are Sam and the narrator. The plot is what happens in the story. The setting, it's July in the summer. They're walking through a neighborhood after leaving their best friend Ben's house. There is they use pronouns intimately. And the essay is very well organized. Please let me know if you have questions. Oh wait, I also forgot that this essay is set up. Let me go back to the essay. This essay is set up in the same way that I gave you the outline template in class. So we've got our introduction, we've got our body paragraphs. He does a great job at showing and not telling. Showing means that we can visualize the story, or we can envision the story as we're reading it. We don't know what Sam and the narrator look like, but these people feel like they could be some of our friends. That's a part of showing. Supporting evidence. There's passage of time as well. We can feel like the story's moving. They're walking from their best friend's house to at some point down the street where the sister rolls up in the car, and they get in, which closes the story out. The conclusion, the moral of the story, about halfway of the second page is where the conclusion starts coming in. The moral of the story, the effect that it has on us, or the effect, how it's affecting us as readers. And then we come to learn why it's called the Man Box. By the end of the story, we should all know why you titled it and what's our takeaway.